Hey everybody. I don't know why I've started singing at like an intro. It's just kind of become my thing. Good morning. It is Sunday morning and I decided not to wear my hat, but it is a baseball cap kind of day. The other day it was a Dallas Cowboys stocking hat kind of day. And the reason I love that stocking cap, it's fleece lined inside, so the wind is not going to shoot through. And because when I wear that, you know it's cold, and it's windy, so cold and windy. So, and I don't throw my hood part up too much, but you will notice I wear my Texas Ranger one all the time. And what I have learned about myself, it's taken me a while to figure this out. Now I'm 52. And I don't mind telling y'all that. I think since I've retired, I've really gotten minimalistic on the amount of clothes that I have. Well, of course, and I do pet sitting, so you don't have to dress up for that. But I only have like maybe 4 pairs of shorts. I have maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 t-shirts. Now, y'all see the Spam t-shirt a lot, but that's because I ordered 4 of them. Because I ordered those to wear as, just when I go do my pet sitting thing. Because if those get damaged or a dog's toenail, hooks on it and something rips, I don't care. It's for that purpose. It's a work shirt. And then I have, like my Texas Rangers t-shirts. I wear that orange t-shirt that's got the big footprint on it. That's kind of my Bigfoot t-shirt. And, but I have found, like, I wear one ball cap for now. And when I get tired of it, I'll get another one. And these are the Nikedrifit. Let's see, it's right there. I love these because, does that show up? Yeah. Anyway, and it needs to be washed, but I wear these year-round, or I wear this one year-round. I've gone through a green one, a white one, an aqua blue one. I've been wearing them for years, but I like the dry fit because, like, come summertime, I sweat like nobody's business, okay? And so it's a lot easier to wear these than wearing an actual like cotton hat, because these dry out real fast, that kind of deal. So, and I have like the one stocking, well, I have 2 stocking hats. I still have the one I wore when I was on patrol, and it is just, it's the kind you put on, but you don't roll that cup up. You know what I mean? It's just one, how would you describe that? Kind of like a beanie, maybe? But anyway, it doesn't have that cuff on it like the Dallas Cowboy one does. But anyway, I still have that one. That one I wore on patrol, because, we'd get out there on calls or have to direct traffic, and, you don't want the big fat band around your head, but you just need something on your head because you may be out there a while. But anyway, I have the one hoodie, and here's what I've learned about myself. And like I say, it took me a while to figure this out. I will wear something until it is worn out, then I replace it. I'm not a big clothes collector. And I think that I can relate it down to two things. My mother was that way, and for 22 years, I wore the same thing to work every day. Every day. I mean, I wore a uniform, so I knew what I was going to wear. And so in my off time, I would usually just throw on a t-shirt and a pair of shorts because that was comfortable to me, and that's how I unwound. But I haven't changed much from that. But a lot of that also came from the fact that growing up, my dad was the only one who worked, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my mother did not go to work until I was a junior in high school. My brother just graduated, and I was going into my 11th grade year and turning 17. And so my mother was the most frugal manager of our home when it came to making things last. And I think a lot of that came from her generation growing up. She was born in 1937. She was a teenager in the 50s, and she graduated in 1955. And so, you know, they lived in the house. She was the baby of the family. There were 3 siblings. And her oldest brother, my Uncle John, when he came back from the war, okay, he bought them the house that she grew up in, okay? And I can still tell you the address. You can find it on Google Earth. Because every now and then, when my mom was still alive, I would pull that up on Google Earth, because that was her childhood home. That's just where she lived. That's where her memories were. And it's 504 West 34th in Houston, Texas. It's on the northwest part of Houston in the Garden Oaks edition. And the house is still there. Of course, the little things have changed. They've taken out some trees and stuff. But I'll never forget the moment when my mom saw the house on Google Earth from the street view. And this has been some years ago. But I kind of was looking at her, you know, kind of out of the corner of my eye. And you could see just for like a moment, she was back there. And I thought it was precious. But, you know, growing up, my mom found ways to make things stretch. I can remember in junior high school, we lived in a duplex. We was po, okay? We didn't grow up with money. But I remember I went in to take my shower, and I went to do the shampoo on my head, and it just like came out quick. Well, she had gone and added water to it to kind of make it last, okay? And I remember saying something to her. I was like, holy crap, Mom. I said, man, the shampoo just shot out of there like water. Well, did you shake it up first? You know, and I was like, well, no, because I didn't expect it to be. But she had added water to try to make that shampoo last a little longer. That's just the generation she came from. And, you know, I mean, of course, you know, what were we going to do about it? But, you know, at the time, I was in junior high. I didn't think about being frugal and all that kind of stuff. But my mom never strayed from that. And so what I have found and kind of learned about myself was, I think I'm kind of the same way, except I don't water my shampoo down. And so, anyway, but I don't own more clothes than I know I'm going to wear. I have the same pair of tennis shoes that I occasionally wear, because I wear Crocs all the time, and I only wear those because you just slide those on, okay? I've even gotten lazy about my footwear, but they're comfortable, okay? They're really, really comfortable, so I mean, I always keep buying them. Now, are they the most stable thing for my foot? No, because they're wide, and I really do need something more stable around my foot, but I love Crocs. But anyway, I have the same pair of tennis shoes that I wear that were purchased when I was 48. I've had them for 4 years, okay? I've taken great care of them. I wash them. I try to keep them clean. And but I don't have multiple pairs of sneakers, you know. I don't need them. So I take good care of the pair I have, and they're Asics. They're a great shoe. And if Asics still made this particular Nimbus style, I'd buy another exact pair of it, okay? Wonderful, very comfortable, but I've just taken care of them. And I mean, you can tell, I mean, they've got some wear to them, and they don't look sparkling brand new, but I've worn them for 4 years. And so if you watch my videos enough, you're like, she's wearing the same hoodie. Well, I just kind of, it's like I want you to know where I'm coming from. You won't see me, if you follow a lot of different people and different styles of YouTube videos, what you're going to notice is they probably do a lot of prep to look good in front of the camera and all that kind of crap. And to some extent, okay, I care how I look, but probably the majority into that, what you see is what you get. My hair is usually going to be a hot mess. I'm not that vain about my appearance anymore. Some people, there's no way they would allow their face to be seen on a screen and they not have every hair in place and, you know, do the eyebrow. Okay, I just don't, I mean, what you see is what you get. If you were to, and I'm at a customer's house, but let's say this was mine. If you knocked on my door and I answered it, what you see is what you get, okay? I'm real down to earth. I'm real laid back about stuff like that. I don't put a lot of emphasis on looking perfect when I get in front of the camera like this. I just don't, okay? So don't think, wow, she's wearing the same hoodie again. Haven't we seen that Spam t-shirt before? I just don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I just don't. But my big fear is if I get summons to jury duty, nah, I'm going to be in trouble because I think they're going to be a little frowny face if I show up in shorts. So I'd probably have to go buy a pair of pants. And I don't even wear jeans anymore. I will wear shorts all the way through the winter. Even if it, okay, like it sleeted the other night, I had on shorts. I don't care. I'm just going from a house into my truck, you know, and from my truck back into another house. I really don't need a winter wardrobe for that. As long as I've got on head protection, I've got my hoodie on, I'm good. So anyway, and one time I went to the grocery store wearing flip-flops, and it was like 32 degrees outside. I had on shorts and flip-flops. I can't even begin, and this was several years ago. I think I was still at the PD. I can't begin to tell you the crazy looks I got. People were like, but I'm gonna tell you, they may look at me funny, but they know darn well as soon as they get home, they're putting theirs back on. So anyway, I wanted to bring something else up. Now, I wrote these on paper, but as you can tell by my subscribership, I don't have 174,000 subscribers. I have 174. So I don't have enough views to monetize my site. Now I know when you bring up money, people are like, click. But I want to bring up that I don't have enough views, total views, for me to even run ads on when I post a video. Okay, honestly, if it were up to me, I'd be a full-time YouTuber and I would present different content, just a garden variety of different stuff that interests me. But I still have to work for a living. I still have bills. But I love recording, and then I get home and I put it all on my computer and I'm like, is there enough of something to kind of put together? Like I did a video yesterday of just pancakes, and then I threw in some rainy day stuff that had gone on, and I had trouble blending the music because the song was going to be longer than the video that I was putting out there, so it was kind of a chop up job on the music, but I just wanted to make a video. But anyway, if if some of you ever feel charitable, because you know, I'm not too proud to throw this up here. But anyway, if you're on Venmo, I am on Venmo too. This is how a lot of my pet customers pay me. Now, Venmo is an easy app, and that is how you would find me. Okay? Screenshot that if you need to. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, if you happen to be on Venmo, guess what? I'm on Venmo too. So anyway, that's my Venmo. And as a bonus, I'm also on PayPal. Screenshot that if necessary. Anyway, here's my PayPal. So if any of you ever feel like, you know, I have $10 or $20 that I'm not doing anything with, and you'd like to toss a few bucks my way, I can tell you where it's going to go. It's going to go in the gas tank, because after I make my rounds, I like to go boogering from the truck, is what I call it. And this wouldn't go towards equipment, because I pretty much got everything I need. In fact, I probably have more than I need as far as like camera gear. I've got the really nice, I have invested well when finances had come my way. I invested in good camera equipment. So things like this wouldn't go to camera equipment. I've got all I need. The latest little hoodoo that I bought was the infrared. I've got 2 infrared lights that I can attach to my camcorder so that I can see at night. And for an example of that, if you'll go to my video, go down through my video list, and you'll see the night shot looking videos where it's that greenish, that bright light greenish, kind of like a ghost hunters type. That's what the infrared light can do. So I have 2 of those, and that was kind of the last thing that I bought as far as for my Bigfooting. And super cool thing to have, it really is. But it only works if you have night shot on your camcorder. But I have other cameras, so I'm good on equipment, okay? Stuff like this, PayPal and Venmo, that goes towards gas. Because let's face it, we all know I use gas and then run out of it. So I'm not begging for money. I'm just saying, if anybody'd like to contribute to my videoing addiction that does require driving around, feel free. I'd be very grateful. I'm not going to probably give you a shout out on air, so to speak, because I think sometimes that God loves a cheerful giver, but you don't need to go tooting your horn for it because you've given. I've done some things. I've been charitable in my own right and never said a word about it because I don't think you should. I don't know. I'm just funny about that. So, you know, I've paid for like people in the car behind me that I don't even know, like if I'm at McDonald's, and I just tell the person at the cash window, just tell them, hey, Merry Christmas, or whatever, you know, the case was. I said, they don't know me, I don't know them, I just want to do something nice. But you don't ever hear me like post that on Facebook or, you know, stuff like that. I just don't, you know, sometimes it just feels good to do something nice, and you don't need a pat on the back from anybody. So anyway, that is what I wanted to talk about. I did feel weird making this. I really did. Do I need to tilt it some? I didn't write straight. I have the hardest time like keeping a straight line. I just can't do it. I don't know. But anyway. And you know what's crazy? Now that I'm still on this subject, like I watched a live video. I watched Flossy, is it Flossy Carter? Okay. I think I was looking for some tech reviews on like a phone or something. I don't know. It was last year. And he went live one night. Now he is based in, he is either in Chicago or he's in New York City. I can't ever figure out which. But I just like the way he does, the way he talks. You'll have to check him out when he opens stuff in his boxes and how he talks and stuff. And he kind of cracks me up. But anyway, I was watching this live video that he did. And people were just donating. Now, he's got just under 1 million subscribers, okay? He's in the 900,000s. And people were just like, here's 20 bucks, here's 30 bucks, here's 10 bucks. And I'm like, why are they just giving him money? Because he's making money off of views, you know, from any of these videos that he's done. And I mean, he does all this like tech review stuff. Like if this was a new thing, a car fob, you know, he would do a tech review on it. And he'll try it out and he'll get a buku of views. But the thing is because he's got 900,000 plus subscribers, he manages to have a lot of views on his little YouTube episodes. And so he's getting paid for that. So I found it really crazy that people were just throwing money at him. And I'm like, I think the man's doing well. I think he's doing okay. Without these people, you know, and here I am, a little fledgling, struggling retiree who still has to work because her retirement check is crap. Ola, it literally, my retirement check makes my house note, my truck note, and I think I can pay one bill, and then I got to keep working. Isn't that crazy? It's so good to know that I worked for 22 years to have that kind of check, you know. So but what I did for a living, I just couldn't find the longevity in it. I just couldn't, you know. And there is a fly, and I don't even have the door open back there. But I just didn't have the longevity. It is hard on your body. It's hard on your emotions and your mental health to stay in patrol year after year after year. And you're doing, and it physically takes a toll. You know, if you end up having a bump and roll around with a suspect that doesn't want to get handcuffed, and you and your beat partner are you know, wrestling and fighting with this guy. You know, it's all fun and games when you're in your 20s. Bumping around into stuff starts to kind of hurt when you get into your 30s. And I don't know how it is for the guys, but as women, we're just not built like the men. And so when you get into your 40s, and you've already broken out, you know, the Advil and the ice packs, and, you know, you get into a scuffle, and the first thought that goes through your mind is, oh, I'm going to feel that one tomorrow. I can't tell you how many times that happened. And that's just some of the physical stuff. I never could run anybody down. I could run long enough to kind of give a clothing description and a last direction of travel because they're just zipping through between houses and stuff. So I was never, even in my 20s when I first started, I couldn't run anybody down. I just couldn't, you know. And as you get older, you're still not going to run them down. That part of the job is really suited to the younger officers. Someone told me one time, and it's true, there are two types of officers too. Pointers and retrievers. They went that way. And then you got the other officers who will, and they'll catch them. Of course, and now when I say catch them, you gotta understand how we catch folks. When you catch up to them, you're giving them a shove. You're knocking them to the ground, and then you gotta jump on them. Because you just don't run up to them and go, you're it. Fall on the ground. No, you're falling on the ground with them. So, so what I did for a living, it catches up to you. It catches up to you. I had 4 fleet accidents. 2 were my fault, 2 were not my fault. One was a humdinger, and it was the very first wreck I had as a patrol officer, and I was rear-ended. I was sitting behind a car with a flat tire, and I had my party lights on, and I had enough distance between me and the car in question. Now, the people who had driven the car, they were not there. Now, this was in 1991, so we didn't have cell phones, but they had a flat tire, so I guess they walked off to go find a phone or, call somebody, but nobody stayed with the car. And I am on our inner loop, and people are coming from an intersection, but they're going downhill, and I'm at the bottom of that, okay? And before they kind of come back up, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden, and I had dispatch run the tag number to see if we can get a hold of whoever owns this car. This fly's driving me nuts. If I start swatting my hat around, you'll know why. But anyway, all of a sudden, it's one of those things, okay, imagine yourself, you're just sitting there in your car, you're waiting on dispatch to get back with you, and all of a sudden you're just like looking in your rearview mirror. And I'm like looking ahead, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden I can't take my eyes off the rearview mirror because I see a car coming. Now everybody else has managed to, as they came down, they'd move over, okay? And I am now deadlocked on my rearview mirror, and I'm like, that car's not slowing down. Because I can see it as it's coming at a downward. I'm like, they're not slowing down. Holy crap. I'm fixing to get hit. That's just kind of how it went. And then all of a sudden, I remember I went, and the worst thing I did was I grabbed the steering wheel, and I tightened up. And, of course, I get hit. And it may not sound, hang on, y'all. Lost my touch. Anyway, it may not sound like a high-speed impact, but I got hit at close to 50. Now, an accident investigator had to do the accident because it was involved a city vehicle, and using their mathematical equations based on where I was parked, the skids of it moving me, because the impact pushed my car to where I only had about this much between me and the car that I had been parked behind. And that herniated the disc in my back. So I was 1.5 years into my career, and now I got a back problem. Then 10 years later, I get hit almost identically again, but in my own car. And I was the sandwich vehicle, and this time a truck, a Ford F-250. The driver fell asleep at the wheel. Morning time. I'm in my uniform, but I'm working a bank job, and I'm headed there. And anyway, he literally was like a drunk driver. He was going southbound, and then all of a sudden just strayed over and hit me in the turning lane. Knocked me into an Expedition that was in front of me. So not only did I get it from the rear, I got it from the front. And that tore the herniated disc. And I was off work for 5 months. Not because I was all crippled up, but because it tore my disc. And the accident wasn't work related. It was off duty, I had to start burning my own sick time, and thankfully, I had the time. Okay, if not, I would have been in a bind, and I probably would have lost my job. But anyway, there wasn't anything I was allowed to do before I ended up having this little surgery. It was an outpatient surgery to basically hot glue my disc back together. And then there was not anything I was allowed to do after the surgery. And so I ended up burning 800 of 1,000 sick hours before I went back to work. But here I am working with a low back injury that used to give, and it still from time to time will give me fits, and it's right there in the L4 and 5, like when you put on your pair of pants and you put on a belt where that back belt loop is. That's where it's at. That's the problem area. So you take all of that plus other just getting bumped around and, you know, having to wrestle with somebody in tight quarters, because, you know, not everybody lives in a mansion. They live in these little shotgun houses. And I can remember getting into a scuffle, another officer and I mean, it was a scuffle that we were still just standing up. We couldn't get the guy on the ground. We wanted him off his feet. And he just had lower body strength enough to prevent that. But I can clearly remember through, you know, because you're talking 3 of us, 2 officers and this guy, and I got slammed into the refrigerator. It just happened that way, okay? I just happened to be the closest one to the refrigerator. But, you know, after a while of years and years and years of stuff like that, it's hard to get to the finish line at the length of service that you really wanted to get to. Like, I wanted to get to 25 years, but I had just run out of emotional gas at the 22-year mark, and I just wanted to throw up at the idea of 3 more years. And you may be thinking, but you've already done 22. You got to understand, when you are emotionally done, you're done. You're checked out. Going to work has now become a chore. And that's when it's not fun anymore. It's not safe. It's unfair to your coworkers because you're not giving it 100% anymore. And you can't do that. We do a type of work that if we're lazy, we're complacent, we could get somebody hurt, we could get our beat partner hurt, you could get hurt, and, you know, we're not bagging groceries. We wear a uniform that represents something to people that they either love or they hate. And they're willing to go to great lengths to show you how much they don't like you. So, you know, you just have to know when it's time to go. And I knew it was time to go. And I've enjoyed being stress-free. Hang on, the fly's back. Y'all, I did that with great precision, and I still missed him. I'm going to kill this fly. But anyway, he's still buzzing around. But anyway, one of the things that I really, truly enjoy doing is using my camera, trying to produce content. You know, my target audience isn't going to be this young 20-something, high school age, 20-something age demographic. It's just not going to be. They're the ones that are out there doing the crazy stuff, stunts, scares, crazy bicycle, skateboard. Okay, that is a completely different demographic that follows those kind of kids. And, you know, I'm 52. I'm retired. My biggest interest is in the subject of Bigfoot. Always has been, but I've only, as of late, been able to go and kind of pursue it. So when that's not on the table, what else I like to do is photography and doing the videoing. I would love, love, love to see my subscribership just take off. And I would love to see that. I would love to start garnishing a lot of views because I produced good content. And so one of my goals for this year is to really change up or improve my content videos and not just always have these little sit-down talks like I'm doing right now. But sometimes I just want to connect to, let's say, the audience and give you an idea of where my thoughts are, okay? And so one of the things that I want to do, I love going down memory lane. I love it. And I think as we get older like this, we tend to go down memory lane because we know, like, I am probably more than halfway through the rest of my life, okay? Now, when we took my mom, or I was there, met the nursing home at the cardiologist office, and my mom, that's when we got confirmation she had a blocked valve in her heart. But what we also learned was that she wouldn't survive a surgery if they went in to try to fix that situation. So the following day or the following week, I can't remember, because everything started going really downhill pretty quick. My sister-in-law took my place for that follow-up appointment. I wasn't feeling good, and she took my place. Because the thing is when the nursing home transported my mom to the doctor's office, family member had to meet the nursing home. They don't stay, they just transport. And then you take your mom upstairs. And so the cardiologist spoke to my sister-in-law out in the hallway away from my mother and gave my sister-in-law the awful truth about what was going on with my mom, and told her this is going to be her last Christmas. Now, this was somewhere near the end of November. He said this is going to be her last Christmas. She may have a month, she may have 6 to 8 to 9 months, but this is going to be her last Christmas. He just knew it. He knew it. And he asked her, he says, who was the woman that was with her last appointment? And my sister-in-law said, well, that's her daughter. Okay? I've never told y'all this. And he goes, you tell her, after he tells my sister-in-law everything, he says, you tell her that if she has a problem with what I'm telling you, she needs to call me. And I'll talk to her, I'll, make an appointment. He goes, if she doesn't change her life, because he was looking at me, he was looking at my size, he could tell by my skin, my eyes, I'm not sure what else. He was just, I guess he had checked me out just in an observation. But he told my sister-in-law to let me know that if I don't change my life, I won't be here in 10 years. Now, my sister-in-law didn't know what to do with that information. And so when I got with my sister-in-law the following day to kind of get the rundown of what happened at the doctor's appointment, I had dropped by my brother's house. Now, he wasn't there. He was having to run the scoreboard, doing coaching duties, at a basketball game. And, but my sister-in-law told my brother, and David goes, you need to tell her. She goes, I don't want to tell her. She just goes, I don't want to tell her that. He goes, you're going to have to tell her what the doctor said. Talking about me. So my sister-in-law is telling me this, and she goes, he said that if you don't change your life and your lifestyle, you're not going to be here in 10 years. And I said, really? And he says, if you have a problem with that, you can call him. He'll be happy to talk to you about it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't upset me. She goes, I really didn't want to tell you that. And I said, it's okay. I know I'm overweight. I see it every day. And I said, I know that heart issues run in our family. And now what we didn't know was not only was it going to be my mom's last Christmas, we didn't know she would be gone about 3 weeks later. Okay. And, you know, that really, that crept up on us. And so, doesn't make it any more pleasant or unpleasant, but it was still, we were hoping we had months, not 3 weeks. So, but anyway, you know, I think about from time to time what the doctor said. I also go and think about how I've always felt in my heart that I'm probably going to live to about 80. I've always felt that. My grandmother died at 83. My mom died on her mother's birthday, but my mom was 80. Now, is this doctor somebody that maybe God's using to get my attention? It's very possible. It's very possible. But the one, and I know that I'm just not going to change my ways overnight. I know I'm not. Now, do I want to keep pushing it until something bad happens and it's a physical danger to me? Well, no, I don't. But I know what it does make me do. It makes me want to enjoy life right now while I'm still physically able to do it. And one of the things that I enjoy doing is videoing, getting content, you know, to make videos with. I would love to travel, but I don't have the finances for that. You know, I don't have a way to meet all of my monthly obligations and then just go blow and go somewhere, go on a road trip. I don't have that kind of income. And, you know, being retired sounds glamorous, but it's not financially glamorous. I only worked 22 years, you know, and, you know, it'll be better for the officers who are still working now or get hired now, and they work their 20 to 25 years. Their retirement, I mean, new officers now are making close to what I made when I left. And I've been gone 7.5 years. So it'll only get better for them. But it makes me feel really bad for the guys that left long before I did, because I know they're not making squat. So, yes, I want to live long enough to cash in on Social Security and have retirement check and Social Security coming. But, you know, and then I'll quit pet sitting. But anyway, I throw that stuff up there, the Venmo and the PayPal, because I know there are people who, they're silent givers. I'm a giver. I can't tell you the things I've given away. I didn't want money for it. And I've just always been a giver. I don't know who I get that from. Because my mom was a tightwad. My dad wasn't, but my mom was a tightwad. So I don't know but I'm just a giver at heart, you know, and it's just the way I'm made, and I don't make any apologies for it. But I know that there are people out there who are givers, and so if you'd like to support, let's say, this channel, I can assure you that the finances will get put towards my passions. Okay, and keeping gas in the truck so I can go out and do what I love to do, kind of feed that need. It's also a stress reliever. I take medication because I have some PTSD issues from being in law enforcement, and of course I take some blood pressure medicine. But, you know, I'll always probably be on this medication. I don't want to be, but I also don't like what I'm like when I'm not on it. I'm already an emotional person, but it really elevated that, and that's miserable. That's really miserable. So the medication just kind of brings me back around to being the old me, and this what you see is what you get. This is kind of how I was long before. I like to use the analogy, before my pot was cracked. I didn't realize it was full. And we had a tragedy at our department. We had an officer get killed at the hands of her husband in a domestic, and it was my call. Now, and that happened 2 weeks before Christmas, December 2010. Prior to that, I had been at my career for almost, well, I'd already been there 21 years. I'd already seen a lot, done a lot, been involved in a lot. And it's not a matter of you peel back things like the thin layer of an onion, reverse that. You're adding those thin layers of events, and you're adding a layer every time you worked a homicide, an infant death, did about 3 or 4 of those. You're there with someone because they just found their mother or father passed away from old age. Can't count the suicides. Those are thin layers that are being added to your emotional health. Okay? You don't realize what you've been carrying because you make the emotional adjustments to support that and keep going, because you have to keep going. You've got 4 more hours in the shift. You still have to function. There are going to be people who need you, and you get to where you'll just emotionally deal with it when you get home, because then you can cry. But I got to, in the latter part of my career, I got to where if something really moved me, I cried, and I cried with people. It was just better for me to go ahead and do that. But I got to where I had to let it out myself. And but the situation where our officer was killed, that's when I didn't realize that my pot that had been getting filled all those years, I didn't realize it. That's what put the crack in it. That put the chink in my armor. And I realized I emotionally wasn't the same after that. And that's when I started to realize I'm tired. And I worked for 8 more months after that. But that's not the sole reason why I retired. But that was really the big job or do that just kind of gave me that shove to look at myself and realize I'm tired. I'm tired. I have nothing else to accomplish here. The only break from patrol that I ever did was I taught DARE for 2.5 years. Now that was fun. And that's just teaching a 5th grade drug program to a bunch of 10 and 11-year-olds. And because I'm probably mentally a 10 or 11-year-old myself, I fit in just fine. But I loved hanging with those kids. If you ever started out having a bad day, you just go hang with them. And they're silly. Oh my gosh, they're silly. I can't imagine that I was that silly at that age, but I'm sure I was. But anyway, that's just where I'm at in life. And again, one of my pleasures and one of my passions that brings me a lot of happiness is just videoing, photography. And it's a way, it's an expression. And it's kind of artsy-fartsy. That's about as artsy-fartsy as I get. I'd love to paint or draw, but I'm just not that good at it. So I get really envious of people who can. But anyway, that's all I wanted to bring to you. today. I have talked for almost 50 minutes, y'all. But I wanted you to kind of know what's going on with what I see for the future as far as my content. I am going to put together something a little down memory lane about, all the little houses that I lived in. I went to the same school district my entire school, kindergarten through 12th grade, but we moved 6 times. So I kind of want to show you the houses that I lived in as I grew up, and I'll take you to past the area where the dairy farm is. It's not there anymore. There's a double wide mobile home up there now, but I think they got rid of the dairy parlor, and there's a really small barn close to the road that's still there. But you know, the way it was back then, I don't think we have any photos at home of it, but I'll just take you down memory lane and let you learn a little bit more about me. So anyway, I have talked way too long. I don't even know if I could edit this, but anyway, give some thought if you'd like to support my passions and my endeavors, and I promise you it'll go to good use, and it's probably going to go in a 5.7 liter V8 Dodge Ram truck. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye.